Today we're going to the pub and talking all about what happens when micro meets macro. Hello and welcome back to the channel, and yes, today we are out to the pub for the very first time on this Pedals and Pints series. We're going for a proper pint, and today's pub is in the lovely little town of Beeston. I've done videos on this before. It's on the outskirts of Nottingham, and frankly, well, it could well be argued it has a better beer scene than the city itself. Not as many options, but the quality is absolutely sublime. Now this ride today is going to take us through some woodland, which we've just cleared, up and over the great A52 road, which is, well, big enough to be a full-on motorway. We're just going to cross that, thankfully. And then it's a run through the Bramcote Hills golf course, we are allowed to do it, and down into the town of Beeston, where we're going to be visiting the Blackshale, which is owned by Lincoln Green, a local, I don't know whether to call them a craft brewer or not, because they've been doing it, let's be honest, since, well before the craft beer revolution was even thought of. But they are definitely forcing their way through with some craft lines as well as their traditional cask offerings. And the reason it's all about what happens when micro meets macro is that the building they're in is owned by Heineken. Now this is a real cool little section, ancient rock faces. Nottingham has a lot of caves, and well, I can only assume these used to be part of them. Now this road doesn't look very busy at the minute, but we have just passed rush hour. It would be an absolute nightmare to cross. There's a central reservation and all sorts. However, thankfully, well, they put in a pedestrian crossing. Now this one is a bit of an oddity. This is a one-way street for cars, but cyclists can go up it, and well, you can see what's about to happen. As you might have guessed, this is the one of the posh ends. Very fancy houses indeed. And we're into yet another, what is a pretty posh area. Now we are into the golf course. This path runs clean through all of the fairways. It's a walking and cycling route, which is fantastic, and it gets us almost all the way into Beeston, well, without having to contend with traffic. So what do I want to get out today? Well, I kind of want to answer the question as to whether when a microbrewery gets involved with a macro brewer, is it worth it? Does it work, or does it feel a little bit forced? I have been to this place before a few times, and I do like it, but I'll be honest, I still can't quite decide whether the concept as a whole really does it for me. And now it's just a speed run down the back streets to the pub. Now that is the Crown, a fantastic boozer, which if it all goes wrong here, well, we'll be heading in there. That is the White Lion, which is one half of the place we're going to. More on that a bit later. And here we have it, Lincoln Green's Blackshale. So, just been in, got myself a pint of their lovely Silver Hill Pilsner, more on that in a second. It's pretty quiet in there, it's a Wednesday night, and to be honest, I'm actually pretty impressed. They're definitely pushing forward more to the craft side. Typically it was just Lincoln Green stuff and then generic Heineken products, which was always fine because Lincoln Green's good, but it does leave you lacking a bit of choice. This time though, they had something in from Shiny and something in from Verdant, so things seem to be heading in the right direction. Well, it wasn't exactly a strenuous bike ride, but I'm ready for a beer. Cheers. You really can't beat a solid Pilsner after a bike ride during the summer, I have to say. The Silver Hill, it's stunning. Nice, malty, fresh, grassy hop note. And it leans in to that proper Pilsner thing with, say, the more intense hops, the slightly less bready, and to be honest, just, well, altogether pretty fantastic. I am with Mrs. Grummy Beard, she's off camera. We're going to order some food, so we'll catch up with you then.
After this pint we ordered food and another beer. I had my eyes set on a 4.5% dark mild called Suede from Scottish brewery Fine Ales. However, as soon as I went to order it, it got taken off the board. Already in the mood for a dark beer though, I opted for one of Lincoln Green's traditional cask offerings, their Tuck Porter, named after Robin Hood's beer-loving friar. For food, we decided to try a new addition to their menu, small plates, essentially pub tapas, and it's safe to say we ordered far too much. Those small plates really weren't all that small after all. A variety of bao buns, mini tacos, barbecue ribs, chicken tikka naans and corn ribs made up the 5 dishes for £30 offer we'd opted for. Thinking they would be actual small plates, we added some sides. Onion rings, which were nice enough, but the real must-try item here now are these beer and cheese sauce covered mini hash browns. They were absolutely sensational and, I'll be honest, resulted in some pretty heavy breathing on the ride home.
Well then, that meal was incredible, been beaten by it and now really regretting the fact that we've got to cycle home. The potato things in a cheese and beery sauce were absolutely phenomenal, and the whole price of everything there, and we ordered way too much as you probably already know, was 45 quid, which is not cheap, but again, for the amount of food actually in this part of town, given this it's decent quality, it's not, you know, we're not talking about fast food here. Yeah, actually compared to what else is around here, it's really not bad at all. And I wasn't going to have another beer because full of food and beer and everything else, but then I saw they got this, which admittedly points down for being in not quite a perfectly clean glass, but this is a table beer, 2.9% from, let me get to my notes, Iron Pier, and it's described as pine, blueberry and citrus table beer. So I thought, you know, 2.9%, this seems like a good hyper sessionable cycling beer. Let's give it a go. Cheers. That's big, rich, it is super piney, some fruity notes in there, nice and citrusy. Feels like a big, thick IPA. Right, the body on that is incredible. Doesn't feel hot, obviously, because of the low ABV, but yeah, that will be just the digestive aid needed to get back home after this. Right then, that was very enjoyable, as I said. This is the main entrance to Blackshale right here, but as I was telling you before, there is another bar. This used to be just called the White Lion. It was a massive, great pub, been shut for years. And then when this deal with Heineken came through, they split it into two. And on the front here, as you can see, this is the White Lion, still part of Lincoln Green, still part of the same place. There's actually a secret door somewhere around there to get through from both, but yeah, it's a very different vibe in there. It's a kind of an old school proper boozer. That one though, we'll save for another day. Now in my previous video, I alluded to the fact that this video was likely to be about being sensible, not drinking too much, that kind of thing. Now, that video has actually been pushed back a week, but one thing I hadn't considered, we're talking about being sensible about how much you eat if you go out for a pub dinner, because right now it hurts. So heading back to the golf club, I'm clearly out of breath, but do I think what Lincoln Green are doing there with Blackshale and the White Lion really works? Well, I think really time will tell. That place has been open for the best part of a year now, and well, they keep trying new things. Every time we go, the menu's changed, the beers are changing, the staff seem consistent, which is a good thing. I think the biggest problem they've got is for working out who their target market is, because frankly, the people who just go to bars and, let's put it this way, think they like craft beer, and what I mean by that is they order Punk IPA in Beavertown. Sorry to those people. Look, if you like it, you like it, and that's absolutely fine, but they're going to be covered because, hey, it's Heineken and there is Beavertown on tap there. But for those of us interested in something a bit different, well, they do offer that as well, but maybe not in enough range or volume for us to get truly excited about. So yeah, bit of a tricky one. But with all that said, I must say, what it is really good for is you kind of do anything boozer. I can take my gran for Sunday lunch. I can take friends, colleagues, family, whatever their beverage persuasion, because, well, it's got something for everyone. Will that see it through the long term? Honestly, I'm not sure. I hope it does. They keep changing the food there, as I already said, and then they're trying to work out what their niche is. It started off very much, well, bistro pub, let's say, and the top end of bistro pub as well. The food was incredible, but maybe not what you always fancied. It definitely feels more generic pub now, and well, that's not always a bad thing, but hey, I enjoyed it, but I'll be honest, I'm going to struggle to call it my go-to anytime soon. As you can tell, I've been fighting the light a bit here, so I'm gonna wrap it up there. As always, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like it. If you haven't already, subscribe if you'll be so kind, and I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers.